Hey guys, Steve Wise here, president and founder of Mental Fitness LLC. Today I would like to talk about leadership and inspiration, how to authentically be the change you want to see in the world. So, what I believe truly separates a great coach or counselor or trainer from someone who is merely good or average or okay is that it is authentically someone you can look to who lives what they are saying, who is authentic to their mission and to their message. And that is what I aim to be, to inspire others. And that's what I want to try to help teach others to be too. That not that this is just a nice person to talk to or I enjoyed listening to this person, but to say I am inspired by this person because of the consistency of their character, because of their accomplishments, and for them inspiring me to see what is possible because of the way in which they live their life. And so when we talk about leadership and inspiration, we're going to look at two things here. We're going to look at the types of thought, and we're going to look at tips for success. So let's start with the types of thought that exist that I've classified all of our 60,000 thoughts a day into basically 4 types. And those 4 types are to be a dreamer, a doer, a doubter, or a hater. So let's break each one down. I realize, one kind of quick preemptive disclosure, I realize that all of us have all of these thoughts all the time, that we are not stereotypically just the dreamer or just the doubter, but that all of these kind of war within us, and what we feed is what we primarily become, what we allow past our gate, if you will. But what I do want to help people recognize is which 2 are good, which 2 aren't so good, and how to maximize the blending of the 2 that work best to achieve one's true full potential. So, let's start with dreamers. Dreamers stereotypically are your people who are visionaries. They see a big goal, they allow themselves to dream, and they may have this, I'm gonna be a New York Times best-selling author, I'm gonna be the next Tony Robbins, I'm gonna be a professional athlete, I'm gonna, do all of these things. And that is unique and beautiful in many ways, because the reality is most of us don't have the courage to dream that big. And that doubt, those self-limiting beliefs, then without even the ability to dream it, becomes an instantaneous block from us even ever trying for it. So dreamers are incredible in their vision and in their belief in themselves and in their possibilities. Stereotypically, however, dreamers' Achilles heel is that the more the dream, the harder it is to pair with the doing. And dreamers may have a great vision, but they may not have the hustle muscle or the patience to climb the ladder one rung at a time, or their focus is at the top of the ladder, not the next step. And so dreamers then might be afraid to get their hands dirty. They might think someone else is going to make me successful, or that job is beneath me, or or many of other various self-defeating beliefs, because they're stuck in dreamland and not getting their hustle muscle going, not getting their hands dirty, and not doing the 99.9% of work that it takes on an everyday basis in a grind to get something done. So those are dreamers. Doers, type of thought number 2. A doer is a person with hustle muscle. A doer is someone who isn't afraid to do the work. The thing about doers is, these might be kind of your type A, high-achieving personalities, but they're not usually your entrepreneurs. Doers are usually more risk-averse, even if they're highly intelligent, because the game that's been set up for them works for them. And so doers aren't usually the people that build things. They're usually the people that get good grades, that work hard, follow a clear path, but then become to rely on that path. What do I do next? Someone needs to tell me. What is the script so I can follow it, rather than I will write my own script, right? And so doers have that hustle muscle. They have that drive. They have that tenacity. They're grounded in reality and getting stuff done, and getting stuff done at a highly efficient level, but may not allow themselves to have that big dream to really kind of take something from 0 to 1, to really kind of be more innovative or creative. 2 other schools of thought here. Those generally, the doers and the doubt, or the doers and the dreamers, both generally positive. Talk more about that in a minute. Two generally more negative schools of thought. This is your doubters and your haters. Doubting thought is the thought that leads us to imposter syndrome. I have a great worksheet here called the 21 lies we tell ourselves. And it's things like, I'm just not educated enough. I don't have time right now. I don't have the experience. I'm too young. Et cetera, et cetera. It's all of these things that we tell ourselves that hold us back. I don't have the education. I don't have the finances. I don't have the support. I don't have the time. I don't have the know-how, right? Every one of those is a lie in the sense that if we allow it into our heart, it becomes truth. If we can train our mental fitness to correct it and then think, I'm going to commit, then figure out. I'm going to respect the process and learn as I go. I'm going to take a lot of these tips. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to be flexible. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to be resilient. And instead, we cross those self-limiting, doubting beliefs out with a more empowering I am statement, or a more empowering kind of commit, then figure out, or, I will learn as I go, or I'm ready now. I'll figure it out along the way type stuff that we've been talking about here to this point. That is how we can overcome any type of imposter syndrome or doubt. And then the last one here is haters, hating thought. Haters are the critics, right? It's easy to criticize. It's easy to judge. It's easy to sit on the sidelines and Monday morning quarterback from the armchair of our sofa, right? It's a lot harder to be in the game. It's a lot harder to put yourself out there and take a risk and be vulnerable, or to take a shot at learning something and going through that learning curve, right? So haters are the ones who have fallen into learned helplessness. Perhaps it is that they've tried taking a risk in their lives and they failed at it, and now misery loves its company and they're judging and hating on everyone else. The challenge, if you become a hater, if you become cynical and critical, the challenge is not only is that self-defeating for oneself and their own mentality, but it's not supportive to others either. And it's kind of a double negative in that way. And so what we want to do is train our minds to be equal parts, or maybe not equal parts, but to be mostly dreaming and doing, and to remove the doubts and the hate. So how we do that is we just become really good gatekeepers. Is this a positive dream? Am I forward facing? And I want to spend some time there. I want to visualize that, because the more I visualize it, the more likely it's going to be a reality. But I also have to stay grounded in reality and get my doer muscle going. I gotta actually make it a reality. Nobody else is gonna do the work for me. And the more you have that combination dreamer-doer mentality in some pairing or complementary form, the more likely it is you or your organization is gonna be successful. So for example, I'm a bit more of a dreamer, and my wife is a bit more of a doer. Now, she's accomplished her dreams, and I'm proud of her. And she has more dreams yet to accomplish. But being kind of stereotypical, I'm more of a dreamer, and my Achilles heel is that sometimes I struggle to do the necessary work because I want to believe that somebody else is going to do it for me, or it's magically going to occur. And I've had to come to accept the reality that's not going to happen. I need to work on my doer thinking. And I've worked with others who are maybe afraid to take that risk and afraid to be a dreamer, and I've had to nudge them towards more dreamer mentality. And I've worked with others who have struggled with imposter syndrome, and I've worked with others who have struggled with learned helplessness, and I've had to try to help them eliminate those types of thinking. I mentioned these all to you today because that's what I want us to work on with our clients, with our organizations, with our team members, that we help them believe in themselves, be doers and dreamers, and we work to eliminate in our cultures and in our own mentality doubt and hate. So, part 2, how do we do that? For me, I have 10 tips for success. 10 tips that I truly and strongly believe in that I think go a long way in helping people be more successful, more happy, more productive, higher level of achievement. So let's start in the beginning. Find a mentor. The saying is that smart people learn from their own mistakes, smarter people learn from the mistakes of others, the smartest people learn from the successes of others. I want to help people bypass a couple steps and go straight to, I'm going to learn from the successes of others. And the first step in being a great leader is being a great follower. Think about how Sidney Crosby lived in Mario Lemieux's basement his rookie year and learned how to be a professional athlete from, at that time, one of the greatest professional hockey athletes, right? You constantly want to be having people you admire and people you are following in order to push yourself to a higher level. You want to find that mentor, you want to appreciate that mentor, and you want to work with a mentor to help you get to the next rung and see how did you do it, what path did you follow. If you want to take that same path for yourself, for yourself, don't be afraid to ride those coattails. Everybody's a great follower who becomes a great leader. Everybody who's a great leader is still a great follower. Hustle muscle is a term that Grant Cardone uses that I like, and that is, achieving any big dream is 1% allowing yourself to dream it, which is huge and more than most people do. But in reality, it's 99% the daily grind of getting it done. It's being a true, not just, I'm gonna wait until I'm inspired to write this book, but I'm gonna dedicate 8 hours today to working on this book. It's I'm gonna do the little details, dot my I's, cross my T's. I'm gonna be the example that there's no job beneath me, right? That I am going to do everything I need to do to get this done. And it's all those little micro small goals that just build and build and stack and build that you do in the everyday basis of building a business that get you there. And you gotta flex your hustle muscle. You gotta work the grind that way and embrace it. Tip 3, believe in yourself. Belief in yourself is the biggest predictor of your success in anything. Adversity challenges our belief in ourselves. And it's easy to believe in yourself when things are going well. When we really need to believe in ourselves the most is when adversity hits us. And that's when, when you truly believe in yourself and you believe in your cause and you believe in your team, that's when we see the success come. We never want to lose that belief in ourselves because that is the biggest predictor of our success in anything. Tip 4, get help. Build a support team. At some point, if you have a big dream, it's going to be bigger than what you individually can accomplish. And you need to find a great team for that because the team creates synergy. The team lets you achieve a dream that is bigger than what you could achieve just yourself. So get that help, build that team, find people who share your vision, find people who share your passion, and that team synergizes its energies to make the dream a reality on a grander scale than any one individual could accomplish his or herself. Tip 5, find a way or find an excuse. So many of us quit whenever the first obstacle comes along. We think adversity hit, coronavirus hit, the economy crashed. I had to quit. I couldn't find a way to make it work. And in one's mentality, sometimes it's that we found the excuse more so than we wanted to find a way. And in order to find a way, sometimes you have to think creatively. Sometimes you have to push through. Sometimes you have to continue to believe in yourself. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices, right? But the goal is you either find a way to get it done and you persist and you take creative workarounds, you reach out, you do all of those things, or you find an excuse and you quit. Try to always find a way rather than finding that excuse. Step 6, respect the process. Success doesn't happen overnight. The more I think about it, the more success to me is like a ladder, right? And you have to respect the process. You have to climb the ladder, rung at a time. And for that matter, you get to climb the ladder one rung at a time. But when I think of respecting the process, Jesse Itzler once said it takes 5 years to build a brand. I'm not sure where exactly he got that statistic, but I get it. That it's a butterfly effect. It's into outgrowth that grows incrementally. It's not this myth of overnight success. It's respecting the process, embracing the process, and growing and scaling, kind of one next step at a time. 7, invest in yourself and always be learning. Your average CEO, no, let's start here. Your average person reads less than 1 book per year. Your average CEO, Fortune 500 CEO, reads 60 books a year, 5 books a month. Now that's a lot of books, but your average Fortune 500 CEO makes 360 times more than your average person. So what sets that person apart? Probably that they never stop learning. They never stop investing in themselves. I am constantly reading self-improvement books. I'm constantly doing trainings for new therapeutic techniques, new ways of influencing people, new ways of looking at the world, instead of just on the individual level, on the macro level. And I constantly want to be learning and growing. And I want other people to embrace the process. Your learning doesn't stop when you graduate from, your undergrad or high school or your master's degree or even your PhD. Learning is a lifelong process that you have to embrace to constantly be on the cutting edge, to constantly be that voice that people trust and want to go to. Tip 9, priorities and sacrifices. If you want to achieve a big dream, you got to be focused on that one dream and let go of some of the other things that are niceties in order to achieve the big goal. So for me, I bought my first home before I bought my first smartphone. The home was more important. In aiming to achieve another home at the moment that will be maybe like a dream home if we get it, I've sacrificed getting a mule that I could use to do some other yard work around our current home because I want to save up as much as I can for the dream of like the dream home. Priorities and sacrifices, right? If you have a really, really big priority, then the sacrifices, the things you give up, feel good. But, it's making those decisions between, do I want to take this vacation or do I want to work to reinvest in my business? Do I want to have a nicer smartphone or do I want to stick with the one I have in order to buy a nicer house? Do I want to, do I want to buy this brand new car or do I want to buy a used car? So that way I can instead, reinvest in my business or, have an experience like a vacation with my, family. Priorities and sacrifices. The goal is that if you have a really big priority, it's going to take sacrifices, it's going to take time, it's going to take money, and it's going to be worth it in the end. Wimpy goals come with small feelings of satisfaction. Big goals that take a lot of sacrifices come with a lot of satisfaction. I feel a lot better after running a marathon than I do a 5K. The reason is it takes more time and more sacrifice to run the marathon. Priorities and sacrifices. Lastly, take calculated risks. The goal here is that we don't let stress tame us, that we don't think, oh my gosh, what's the worst case scenario? I can never handle that. And then we lose belief in ourselves and we don't take smart calculated risks. And instead we stay in our comfort zone rather than never getting into our courage zone. Growth only occurs in the courage zone. And so I want people to take calculated risks. I want people to feel a little uncomfortable, a little painful, a little stressed, a little extended, because that's when you're growing. That's when you're developing. And if you're not taking calculated risks, you're not pushing yourself to the point of failure. You're not embracing your failures. You're not failing and realizing that's a first attempt in learning and trying again. You're probably not achieving your full potential. So here's the game plan, guys. You can find a mentor, expedite the process for yourself, all while respecting it. Get some hustle muscle. Don't be afraid to do the work. Believe in yourself. Get a great support team. Find people who believe in the vision with you. Find a way or find an excuse. Don't give up easily on your dreams. Respect the process. Understand that it is in process and embrace the process as a positive challenge. Invest in yourself. It's the only investment you have 100% control of is an investment in yourself. I can't control the stock market. I can control my own efforts. Always be learning. Priorities and sacrifices. And lastly, take those calculated risks. If you do those 10 tips, you cut out the doubt, you cut out the hate from your thinking, you combine the dreamer vision with the doer hustle muscle, you are truly onto something, and that is how people are going to achieve their full potential. So for that, I really thank you for listening.